So today we are going to talk about the e-learning versus face-to-face learning. So we want to talk more about the pros and cons of both learning methods, whether is there any differences or any similarities between the e-learning and face-to-face learning. So how good or how bad is this learning method? So I got a lot of these kind of questions from my colleagues, from my friends, from my uni batch, in the media, and also at my workplace. So everything that I want to talk about in this topic, it's all based on the research study that have been conducted for like over 20 years now. So let's get in and talk about it. Online learning has never been more popular, but with the flexible, self-paced learning tools providing information at one's fingertips, this online learning has become the go-to classroom and the employee training method options. But the question is, can this online learning method be as effective and efficient as the traditional learning methods? So in this video, we explore more the key differences between these two learning methods to find out which one may be more effective method for the learners. Okay, so the first thing that I want to point out is, what is an online learning? So any types of learning that happens on the internet could be considered as online learning. So this type of learning also known as e-learning. So today, these types of virtual learning is most often used to refer to a synchronous learning material, which allows the learner to engage with the instructional material at their own pace from anywhere available at any time. So this online learning encourages the self-study and could refer to anything from a digital employee training seminar, such as LinkedIn learning course, to a full-fledged virtual university degree program. Both types of learning, it can be beneficial, but it depending on the goal of the lesson plan. And if these both of methods of learning are combined together, it can be beneficial, which allowing the learners to benefit from both of methods of learning. And there are few of the most crucial differences between this e-learning and face-to-face. So in terms of the environment, the learning environment, so the traditional face-to-face learning scenario, the classes are planned and structured according to fixed schedule. So therefore, this system of learning is more disciplined. And the classroom learning also happens in a group settings, which may spur more discussions, interactions, and also the involvement. But in online learnings, everything happens spontaneously when compared to in-person sessions. So the learners may choose to take up a course or learning module online whenever the inspirations or the curiosity strikes. From the perspective of the learning pace, so the instructor leads the learning pace in the traditional classroom settings, and students are likely to learn passively. So there is a little scope for the learners to slow down and relearn the difficult concept in a live instructor-led scenario, and this is hinders in the entire group. On the other hand, the learner is free to move at their own pace. They can pause whenever needed and revisit module for better clarity before proceeding with the rest of the course. So with the additions of the assessments and the interactive tools at the various points of in the module learning, so the learners no longer is a passive but is active in learning process. In the types of assessments, so in the traditional learning methods, usually the instructor always tests the students after delivering the fixed set of learning modules. So this is most likely an in-person test that closely monitored and happens at a specific date, time, and place. For the assessments in the e-learning context, generally is more flexible compared to the traditional methods. And today, the e-learning modules have frequent knowledge checks and short assessments in place. This is to ensure the contents has been well received. And e-learning exam scenario might be timed and may use the screen recorder to ensure the integrity. So now, will you be able to answer, is online learning as good as the traditional learning methods? Actually, both online and face-to-face learning methods have their own set of unique advantages and disadvantages. So while a lot of learners may still prefer the discipline and the familiarity that the face-to-face learning method brings, So there is no denying of the immense benefits of the e-learning. The self-paced nature of the e-learning content may be highly favorable for the modern learners and organizations that are searching for new ways in managing the employee development training in a post-COVID world. So this type of learning is actually more flexible compared to the traditional learning, and it's generally more practical for the learners. However, the learners still prefer the presence of the live instructor to assimilate the content better, and this is because of the unique advantage of the instructor-led training. Both learning methods are highly effective in their own ways, so choosing one type of training over another is actually purely dependent on the learning styles and also the preference as well as the course material at hand. So you have to take your learners and do significant amounts of analysis of work and upfront work to determine when are each of these an appropriate solutions for you and your problems and your circumstances and for whatever you're trying to do. So you can't make a blank statement that one is better or worse than the other one. It really depends on the learner's situations and the individual's learning styles and preference. So, like I said before, it's depending on the goal of the lessons plan. So, those that are my thoughts, and that is also what the researchers says about this topic. So, remember, both of methods of learning are highly effective in their own ways, but it also depending on the goal of the lessons plan. So, thank you and have a good day.